The flight from New York to Los Angeles had just reached cruising altitude when the first cry pierced through the cabin, sharp, desperate, and filled with the kind of panic only an infant could summon. People groaned, eyes rolled. Some pressed earbuds deeper. But no one looked more exhausted than the sharply dressed man in seat 2A, a millionaire CEO named Adrian Lockhart, known for his icy composure and perfect world, except now his world included a 3-month-old baby girl who wouldn't stop crying. He bounced her, rocked her, whispered to her, but nothing worked. Her tiny face was red, her fists clenched, her screams echoing through first class. Flight attendants approached with sympathetic smiles, offering warm towels, formula, little toys, even suggesting switching seats. But he waved them off. He wasn't rude, just overwhelmed, because for all the millions he had, for all the companies he ran, he had no idea how to soothe a baby. His wife had passed away 2 months earlier after complications during childbirth, and he had been doing everything alone since. Meetings, with a sleeping baby on his chest, conference calls interrupted by cries, sleepless nights and days filled with guilt, fear, and the heavy truth that money couldn't buy back the person he needed most. Passengers whispered, pointing at his expensive watch, his tailored suit, his signature silver cufflinks. He's rich. Why can't he control his baby? Not knowing the storm behind his eyes. Row after row tensed every time the baby's cries spiked louder. Adrian swallowed, bouncing her again, whispering, "Please, please, please stop, sweetheart. Daddy's trying." His voice cracked, hands shaking. A flight attendant placed a comforting hand on his shoulder, but even she looked helpless. Then, from the back of the plane, near the economy section, a woman stood up, a single mother named Mia Torres, wearing faded jeans, an oversized hoodie, and carrying the exhaustion of someone who worked 2 jobs to raise a child alone. She recognized that cry instantly, not the sound, but the desperation behind it. She knew what a baby sounded like when they weren't hungry, tired, or scared, but in pain. She slowly approached the front, even though people stared, clearly wondering what a woman from economy was doing in first class. The attendants tried to block her gently, but she lifted her hand politely. "Let me try," she whispered. There was something steady in her tone, something maternal and warm that made the attendants step aside. When she reached Adrian's seat, he looked up with startled, tired eyes. I'm sorry," he stammered. "She just won't stop." Mia smiled softly. "You're doing your best. But may I?" He hesitated. He didn't know her, didn't trust strangers easily, but something about her calm presence felt like the first breath he'd taken all day. He nodded. She lifted the baby gently, expertly, as if she had done this 1,000 times. She held the baby against her chest, swayed in a rhythmic motion, humming a soft lullaby in Spanish. The cabin, tense for nearly an hour, slowly began to quiet, not because the baby had stopped, but because the air shifted. People sensed a change. Mia pressed her cheek to the baby's head and whispered, "She's not crying, she's struggling. Her tummy's tight." She gently massaged the baby's abdomen, careful and slow. Within seconds, the baby let out a small burp, then another, then suddenly stopped crying altogether, her tiny body relaxing fully for the first time. The cabin gasped. Adrian's eyes widened in disbelief. How did you do that?" he asked, voice trembling. Mia smiled, rocking the now silent baby. "I'm a single mom. You learned to decode cries like languages." Adrian exhaled in relief, rubbing his forehead as though he had just been rescued from drowning. People in the cabin actually clapped, softly, something unheard of in first class, while others watched. Mia like she had just performed a miracle. She didn't bask in attention. She just held the baby, humming gently. Adrian felt himself staring, not at her beauty, though she had a quiet elegance, but at the gentleness, the steadiness, the warmth he hadn't felt since the passing of his wife. He cleared his throat, trying to regain composure. Can you sit with us?" Just until she settled. Mia nodded and took the empty seat beside him. She continued rocking the baby as she slept peacefully. Adrian leaned back, exhausted but relieved, whispering, "Thank you. I didn't know what else to do." Mia glanced at him kindly. "You're not failing. You're learning. We all do. He looked down at his hands, ashamed. Everyone thinks I have everything under control, but I'm terrified. Every single minute. Mia placed her hand gently over his. That means you're a good father. He swallowed hard, blinking rapidly. No one had told him that, not his board members, not the newspapers that wrote articles about the richest widower in America, not even friends who awkwardly avoided talking about the baby. A soft smile touched his lips for the first time in months. The plane continued flying through calm skies, but inside seat 2A, something had shifted, something more important than turbulence or time zones. A grieving millionaire had found a moment of peace, and a single mother who had been invisible to the world suddenly became the one person who could calm the storm. For the rest of the flight, Mia guided him. How to hold the baby differently, how to soothe her, how to read her breathing. Passengers watched in awe as the previously frantic CEO now looked like a man slowly learning how to be whole again. And as the lights dimmed and the baby slept between them, one thought kept pulsing through his mind. This woman walked from the back of the plane into my life like some kind of answer I didn't know I was praying for. And Mia, watching him soften, wondered how someone with so much wealth could be carrying so much loneliness. Neither of them knew it yet, but this flight, the crying, the chaos, the unexpected connection, was only the beginning of a journey far deeper than the one written on their boarding passes. And as the baby slept peacefully for the first time in hours, the viewers watching this story unfold would feel the same message echo through the cabin. The story and the heart.